Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dangerous Misinformation. My name is Rodney Smith. I will be your narrator through this experience of ours, and I appreciate you being here. Happy Monday. Congratulations. You get to have another day. That is a whole mindset shift when we go, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I got to get up in the morning. No, you get to get up in the morning. So just remember that. I remember when I was about 12 years old, I slept in, and then my grandpa Errol, he told me, he's like, you can sleep when you're dead. And I think about that all the time. Whenever I'm sleeping too much, I think like, I'm going to sleep for eternity. And that shit is freaking frightening. It's weird to think like, yes, one day I'm going to go to sleep and never wake up again. So in the meantime, I'm going to get healthy sleep because sleep is awesome. Not going to lie. Especially I get some wicked ass dreams, and I take this shit. It's called Lunesta. Because I have insomnia. Yes, that is one downside about being a genius, is that it's hard to go to sleep because when you get this meat computer all ramped up throughout the day, spreading dangerous misinformation and being creative and trying to do things and get rich and give the whole world my middle finger and tell them all to twirl. When you're in the midst of all that, by the time you go to bed at night, your brain's like, wait, what? We're done? I'm just like a permanent cokehead. Except I'm also really lazy. So if it were possible, by nature. Matter of fact, I don't want to be doing this podcast right now. So, luckily, last night I was looking for a book to read, and which is crazy because I was going through all my books. I was like, man, I've already read all these. Some of them I've read like twice. I got to go to the half dollar books or half price books or whatever the fuck it's called. I just go in there and just get a bundle of shit and load up. But then last night I grabbed a book. It's called The War of Art. And it talks a lot about facing resistance. And it's not about how resistance is just basically the enemy to the creative. And whenever you feel resistance, you can't let resistance win. You got to go through the resistance. And that's where the magic is. I actually sat down. So if you noticed, if you're a true believer, there wasn't an episode on Thursday because Wednesday night I sat down and I just fucking bombed. Now, I don't know if it was as bad as I'm telling myself it was, but I just felt so tired. I was like, dude, I can't put this shit out there. Like I'm a professional. Like I can't put this bullshit out there. It's got to have some sort of substance to it. Pretty sure I was just talking about like shit in my pants or something for 15 minutes, which ironically thinking back now, it's always the stuff that I don't think that's going to perform well, that somehow performs well. So I probably should have put it out there. But I just couldn't do it. I just faltered. And I did the mistake. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to loosen up a little bit. So I put on my headphones and I'm listening to Swamp G and I'm vibing and vibing and vibing. And then I tried to text Swamp G and then my fucking text messages went to green. I keep having fallouts with my favorite rappers. All right. When I was growing up, my favorite rapper, FatSaq, I think it's because I fanboy out so hard and then I just get on their nerves and they get weirded out. So FatSaq doesn't like me. Which FatSaq and I are like brothers. I love him. I'm sure he loves me, but two completely different people. You become adults. And so it's like I text FatSaq, he ignores me. And then I became a huge BFG fan. And when I first met BFG, now some of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but go back. There's an old episode, like episode 18 or something like that. I did an interview with a rapper. His name's BFG. And he actually worked at a gym in Seattle. We went to high school together. He was older than me, and I knew him. He was a really good basketball player, like a D1 basketball player. And so I knew who he was in high school, and he didn't know me. But then years later, I moved to Seattle, and I go to like a 24-hour fitness, I think it was. And he was in there, he's like this 6'8", just big tatted up white dude with deep voice, super nice, like the nicest guy in the world. And he was working there. He was a salesperson. And then I was like, hey, dude, I know you. We went to high school together and shit like that, blah, blah, blah. And so we started talking about life, and I let him know I'm an audio engineer. And he's like, oh, I'm a musician. And of course I go like, oh, dude, I've heard this a million times. I'm kind of like, no. When somebody tells me, oh, they're a rapper, I'm like, ugh. But sure, so he sent me a track. And I mixed it down for him. And the track was just an absolute bang. So I just became a super big fucking fan. But the thing about BFG is I think that, he's like basically he's like basically like he is a white person, but he's not a white person. You know what I mean? And this was like at the height of all the BLM riots and shit like that. And so I was going around making fun of George Floyd and shit like that. So I think it rubbed him the wrong way. So he doesn't fuck with me anymore. And then Swamp G, I found Swamp G because Little B the Bass God posted a picture one time on his Instagram of Swamp G, because Swamp G has a tattoo of Little B on his chest. And I was like, look at this fucking idiot. And so I go and I listen to his music. I go look at this guy's profile, that Swamp G with the tattoo. And I go to hate, and then I go and listen to his music, and I was like, fuck, I love this. It's hilarious. It's just everything I like about music. It was just so good. And he's just like some random guy with like 300 followers on Instagram, you know? And so I hit him up just like, hey, dude, came here to hate. You won me over. I love your stuff. Like, let's be friends, you know? And so we went and met up in Austin. I was visiting Austin. We went and hung out and shit like that. And I thought everything was cool. And then, I go to text him. I'm getting hammered. Long story short, I'm getting hammered to do this fucking podcast. Maybe that's why I stumbled through it, because I was so heartbroken about Swamp G. Oh my God, really? Dude, I just look behind me. I just take a quick intermission there. I just look behind me and the cats. So I have a curtain behind me, like a blackout sound dampening curtain, and the cat's just wrapped all up in it. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I go and have I'm like, dude, I need to loosen up a little bit. So I have a couple drinks. I'm just vibing, just listening to Swamp G. And I'm like, you know what? So I'm on like I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get hammered for this podcast. I don't even want to remember it. So I just keep fucking drinking, listening to Swamp G. And he's got a new album out. Excuse me. And I text him to be like, hey, dude, I love the new album. And my text doesn't go through. So then I ask a mutual buddy, Hunter. I say, yo, Hunter, did Swamp change his number? It's like, no, he's still got the same number. Why? I said, oh, my texts aren't going through. And I jokingly, like, I think he blocked me. And Hunter's like, nah, dude, I'll see what's going on. And then I never heard back from Hunter. So I was like, all right. So this is the downside of spreading this dangerous misinformation, you guys, because you'll piss off a lot of people you don't give a fuck about. But then there's people that you actually really like and you really respect, and then they get a wrong idea or the right idea. Who knows? Maybe I said something that struck a nerve, or I was just annoying being like, because I would get hammered. Because there's been so many times where I've just been drunk as fuck somewhere, like partying or something like that, and I put on his music, and I'm like, you guys got to listen to this dude, and like I'll text him or, just be annoying. So who knows, dude? It is what it is. Swamp G, I love you. BFG, I love you. FatSaq, I love you. You guys can fucking hate me all you want. I'm still going to bump your shit because I don't give a finnuck. So we're going to push through this resistance. I don't care how big of a turd this podcast episode is. It doesn't matter. We're just going to keep grinding through, dude. We're going to keep grinding through. I just don't get, a lot of people say like, oh, I don't like, a lot of people dislike me because of the politics thing. People be like, oh, I don't get how you dive into these political topics. Like, I don't like talking about politics. And to me, that is insane that people don't like talking about politics, because a lot of times it's not even politics, because I can't tell you about the actual politicians, right? When people treat the politicians like a soap opera or something like that, I don't give a fuck about the characters. What I care about is the philosophy that drives things. Like, what is making society tick at the time? Why are people thinking the way they are? What is causing the markets to shift? Why are there conflicts? What is the mind state of the general population? Where are we going to go? How am I acting in the things that are currently happening? Like, if you don't like talking about politics, like, what the fuck kind of man are you? Like, you're afraid to face the realities of the world that you live in? Like, I'm just trying to understand what's going on. I'm not here sitting, I'm like, oh, did you hear Ted Cruz went on vacation? Joe Biden, Butthole Biden, was sitting on the beach drinking chocolate chip ice cream flavored soda or some shit. I don't give a fuck what these people are doing. I care about the collective mindset of the nations and people and cultures and all these things going on, because it's like, what else is there? What else is there besides trying to come to terms and come to some sort of understanding of why we're here? Like, why are we here for this brief moment of time? And then why do we sleep for eternity, like my grandfather said, huh? What's the point? And it's not like I'm having some like constant existential crisis, but it's like, what are we just going to do? Walk around just numbing our fucking brains, watching sports games and watching TV shows and consuming smut, sitting there jerking off to pornography and going out and sitting at a bar and drinking. And the fuck are we doing, dude? What the fuck are we doing? It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why I would love to join like the Freemasons or something like that. So this is what I look like. I heard you're a huge racist party. If you guys want to invite me, I'm down. I would be a poster child. Yeah, dude. I just feel like if you don't care about quote politics one bit at all, you're just kind of this feather in the wind. You're just kind of getting blown around. You know what I mean? Because there's evil people. Like my favorite book in the world is The 48 Laws of Power. And it's not because I want to have any sort of authority over anybody else. Like I've said this before, I just don't want a boss, but I don't want to have any sort of authority over other people. Like the whole like power thing, I get zero satisfaction in having people like suck up to me or anything like that. Zero. But I like to understand. I like to understand the people that do, and I can spot that shit instantly. I can spot a psycho or somebody that's trying to gain control or somebody that's being manipulative or something like that immediately. I can spot it immediately, and I put up resistance. And most of the people that don't like me, most of the people that are saying bad shit about me is because I wouldn't let them fucking treat me a certain way. You know what I mean? That's there. You get two types. I've talked about this before too, but you get two types of people where people that need validation, that put up with certain things, and then people that like to control people. And I'm just kind of on the outlier of that, where it's like, I don't need approval and I don't want to control people. I'm just kind of a loner. And some would call that the fucking Sigma male, bro. But anyways, dude, 13 minutes. Is that where we're at? Okay, I'm going to end this episode with this. We didn't really get into some, I actually got some banger ass topics. So let's dive into those tomorrow. This was just a little us getting reacquainted for the week, touching bases, touching tips. Just the tips, making sure that you're okay. You can see that I'm okay. You can probably hear the fucking cat meowing in the back somewhere because I kicked her out, which I'm probably going to cut that out of the video because I'm trying not to be a ghetto piece of trash. Yeah, say what's up. Send me a message. Don't send me a voice message, okay? Send me a video. It's okay if I can see her. Like, okay, I don't like FaceTiming. FaceTiming drives me nuts. But if I don't mind it when somebody sends me a video, but if somebody sends me a voice message in like text messages or Instagram messages or something like that, it's like, dude, now I got to go. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know if it's going to be something bad. So now I got to go hide somewhere and listen. I don't have time for that, bro. Don't send me fucking voice memos, okay? If you can't, I'm a reader. If you can't communicate via text, it's probably not going to be a thing, dude. Actually, I just remembered Emily sent me a voice message, and I love Emily, so I got to check that voice. It's okay if you're a woman, because women talk a lot. Women talk. If you're a guy, don't send me a fucking voice memo, dude. Matter of fact, don't send me a video either. I only want like verbal communication with females, all right? If you're a dude, write me, and I will write you, okay? Anyways, go get my book, The Petty Principles. It's nice to see sales on that pick back. Oh, I launched some new merch. So go check that out, lordpetty.com, or go to my Instagram and just go on the products tab, the shops tab. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. Please be sure to leave a rating, subscribe on whatever you're listening to. Oh my God. Can you guys hear the cat? Kitty. What? Oh, now she shuts up. I swear to God, dude, this is just this ongoing thing. It's unbelievable how needy this fucking cat is. Do you know who can't just go and do like 15 minutes of a podcast without a cat? Dude. She's my joy of everything, but just the bane of my existence at the same time. Anyways, oh, there she goes. You hear it? No, now the mic. Okay, we got to sign off. I'm going to talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow. Rate and subscribe. See you tomorrow. Peace.